to another edition of Kruzin for Bruzin, where I'll be going over UFC 260 Miocic versus Ngannou 2. As always, this show is brought to you by the AsylumRadioNetwork.com. Please give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Subscribe on the Asylum Productions on YouTube. Also brought to you by Pipe Bomb Industries. Check out their website, pipebombindustries.com, for all your apparel needs. Now, to get into the show. A lot to unpack here. A lot to unpack. There was a really good card, a lot of good fights, a lot of good matchups this weekend. Dana and his matchup crew definitely knew what they were doing this weekend. So let's go ahead and get into it. Right off the rip on the prelims, we have Shane Young versus Omar Morales. I did have Omar going into this. I had it at a 70-30 split. Shane Young actually did fight Alexander Volkanovski, and after he lost to him, he ended up training with him, which is pretty cool. Ended up not working out for him in this fight, though. Omar was able to get out there and showcase his excellent striking abilities and then also his excellent takedown defense. So Omar did come out of that on top of that one with a decision. Moving on to the next fight, Modestas Bukauskas, I can't say that last name, and then Michael Oleksiejczyk. Can't say that one either. It's a tough one. I did have Michael coming into this one. I had these guys at a 80-20 split. Modestas actually looked a lot better than I expected him to up against Michael. Michael was the better striker in this matchup, though. He was constantly in his face, constantly putting pressure on him. Bukauskas did seem to pressure himself to try to get that big finish and seemed to gas himself out really early. He did rock Michael in the I want to say it was in the second round. He had him on the fence, and could have got a finish because he did rock him a couple of times, but ended up not taking his time and assessing the situation and really capitalizing on rocking Michael, and Michael was able to come back and then get the win with the split decision. Moving on to the next one, we have Jared Gooden and Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov. And of course, we had Nurmagomedov, Khabib in the corner of Abu Bakar. I did have this one at a 60-40 split. I thought Gooden would come out and be able to keep I'm just going to call him Abu, just to save myself getting my tongue all twisted up. I was expecting him to keep Abu on the feet and be able to outstrike him. That wasn't the case. Let's see here. Abu, surprisingly good stand-up. Gooden did have good defense in round one on takedowns. Surprisingly enough, Abu didn't really go for very many takedowns. He got one, and he did attempt 5 of them. Jared was actually able to defend those pretty well, but I'm surprised he didn't keep going. He seemed very comfortable with his striking abilities, and he kept that on the feet. In the third round, Gooden did go for a guillotine whenever Abu tried to take him down. Ended up on his back for 3 minutes, and then, of course, Abu came out on top of that one with the decision. Moving on to the final fight of the prelims, Alonzo, Minifield, and Fabio Sharron. Man, this was Fabio's debut in this one, and I did have Fabio because I thought he would out-wrestle Alonzo. Boy, was I fucking wrong. Boy, was I wrong. He immediately, he had Fabio up against the fence, and he just picked him up like he was an infant and slammed him to the ground and then actually ended up getting a fawn flu choke. I think that's how you pronounce that. He got a fawn flu choke, and only 4 others in the UFC have been able to do that. So congratulations to Alonzo, and also fuck you for making me lose money. Moving on to the main card. First one up on the main card was Jamie Mullarkey and Khama Worthy. This is another one that let me down. I did have Khama Worthy like everybody else coming into this. I knew it was going to be a close one. I had this one at a 60-40. I knew they were both excellent strikers, so I knew it was going to be a banger in that one. Mullarkey came out strong, though. He came out really strong. He came out strong and precise, and was able to just tag out Khama. And Mullarkey ended up getting his first UFC win last night with a KO, so congratulations to him. This one I knew was going to be amazing. I've been watching Miranda very closely ever since her last fight on Fight Island. Gillian, I knew wouldn't be able to stand up with her, and that ended up being the case. She, let's see here. First round, Miranda is walking Gillian down all over the octagon. Second round, Gillian gets a takedown and really shows her talent. She was just mauled Miranda on the ground. I mean, mauled her the entire time. But coming up to the third round, I think in Miranda's head, she did know that she had lost that second round. Hands down, she had lost it because she spent 3 minutes on her back. She ended up tagging up Gillian and then also getting takedowns of herself and grappling, showing her grappling capabilities. Miranda ended up coming out on top of this one with a unanimous decision, which I felt was kind of weird because I do feel like she lost the second round, but some judges decided that wasn't the case. Watch out for Miranda Maverick. I think if she's able to keep her weight in check, she has been struggling to keep her weight at 125. She could definitely be a title contender in the near future, which would mean if Valentina Shevchenko keeps hers here in April, that we could see that matchup, and I think that would be a good one. Moving on to the Sugar Show and Thomas Almeida. What was I looking forward to this one? I was a big fan of Sean. Not such a huge fan after how he took his last loss. Felt like that was very bad sportsmanship, but that's all in the past now, and Sean came out and looked exactly like Sugar Sean O'Malley. Came out looking better than ever, mixing up his feints, mixing up his attacks. You didn't know what was coming next. You didn't know if he was going to throw a head kick, if he was going to feint an uppercut and then throw a left hook. You just had no idea. Unfortunately, I think it was in the first round, I want to say it was in the first round. He thought he had got a walk-off KO, and it kind of looked like that, but Thomas was a little bit more coherent, and the referee didn't stop it, and he should have capitalized on it. Could have been over in the first round, but he wanted that viral walk-off KO and ended up having to go all 3 rounds. In the second round, O'Malley wasn't doing much damage, but he was still able to control the octagon. The third round, O'Malley still dominating, knocks down Almeida, and then drops the hammer on him. Thought he got another walk-off KO, walked up to him leisurely like he was in the park, and then dropped the hammer on him and ended up knocking him out. So congratulations to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I hope he continues to – I would like to see him fight Cody Garbrandt, actually, next. There was a lot of back and forth between them a couple months ago. I would like to see that fight. Really test Sugar Show's height. Moving on to Tyron Woodley and Vincente, my bad. I did have Vincente coming into this. I feel really bad for Woodley. He's lost his last 4 fights. There were bigger fights. This guy is a little bit lower on the rankings, but he's ranked. He came out really strong. Yeah, he came out really strong, but he just wasn't able to finish Vincente. I keep saying that wrong. He did get him rocked just a little bit, but Vincente got his bearings back and ended up completely decimating Tyron and had him wobbling on his feet like a newborn deer. And Vincente ended up getting the finish in that one. I don't know what is next for Woodley. I would like to. I would like to see him keep fighting these ranked competitors, but I want to say I don't know if they'll keep the UFC contract, sign him a new one, to where he just fights, the up and comers, kind of like Cowboy was doing. Stay at number 15 and just fight the new guys and see if they're worth it. I don't know. I feel bad for Woodley. I hope he does get to keep fighting. I know he loves what he does. So, moving on to the main event of the evening, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Ngannou looked better than ever. I mean, he looked better than ever. He came out. He was patient. He had excellent takedown defense, and it's almost like you could tell with Stipe whenever he blocked that first takedown, he stuffed it completely, and it's almost like you could see in Stipe's eyes that he was probably going to get fucked up, which ended up being the case. Second round, Stipe wasn't able to adjust and come up with a better game plan rather than just going at Francis's legs, and ended up just getting outboxed by Francis, which everybody pretty much knew what happened. It was either going to be Stipe doing the same thing he did last time and grappling with Francis for all 5 rounds and coming out with another decision, or Francis was going to knock him out. I was hoping it was going to wait to the 3rd round. That's what I had a couple dollars on. Ended up coming out in the 2nd round. What's next for Francis Ngannou? Well, there's a couple things. There's always Derek Lewis, which Dana White talked about a lot in the post-fight conference. He mentioned his name quite a bit whenever they're talking about Francis. And Derek has been looking good. He's been taking everything really serious. He's been cutting his weight. He's been working on his cardio. So I say give Derek Lewis that title shot. Now, there is one more contender out there, and that is, of course, John Bones Jones, which he was on Twitter last night running his mouth and saying, show me the money and all this and that. And Dana White told him, if you want the fight, make the fight. You just got to make the call. That's all you have to do. I don't know if we'll see that. We'll probably see that before Derek, but who knows? Who knows? It was a good fight overall, though. Did lose a few dollars on this fight, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's it. Next weekend we have just a little fight night. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys next week. If you did enjoy the show, please leave a like, comment, and if you're on the YouTube, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.